Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
We never do this when we have a guest.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
But this is how we're going to start today because guess what? We have a familiar.
By popular request, Jarrett Weisberg.
The wide foot berg.
Do you know why I said by popular request? I kind of already told you.
Tell me again.
Okay, so when I was touring the country this summer,
Look who's flexing.
all of the stops I went on, people asked, where's Jarrett? Can we get more Jarrett content? We love the wide-footed Jarrett. Every stop.
Can you film that next time?
And send it to you?
Yeah, film it and send it
It
to
was
me.
one person following around and it was Jared's aunt. But
It was the same person at
As
every
long as
stop. But
they change outfits. That's cool.
no, people love your wide-footed reviews. And I guess there are more wide-footed humans in the world than I knew.
well, I think that it's not as much that's the problem. The problem is if you have a wide foot, nobody accommodates for you. So here's a guy out here who's saying, hey, I can help you with that. And you're like, finally, I have a problem. Now I have a solution. And that solution is Jarrett.
Do you feel that way?
This is like a weird thing. I feel there's like this imposter syndrome.
Oh, you mean because you're not David Blaine?
Oh, that would be cool, right? That would be real cool. But I don't know. I mean, like, I'm just out here trying to fight the good fight
All right.
and do it up for my people. And there has been a big change in the landscape. So things are happening.
Before we go too deep into this, I promised Jarrett that I would let him taste the Corona mix.
Thomas sees stuff on Instagram and he can't help himself.
Now, normally you would drink some of this out.
Okay.
Can you just baby bird it? Don't put your lips on it?
You're going to be
Just
upset.
put it into
Yeah.
the glass.
No, because I'll put it in this one. All right. So you pour a little out. Normally you just drink it.
Tell the people what you're making.
I'm making it's supposed to taste like Dr. Pepper.
I know you keep telling me that. You're acting like I'm like the biggest Dr. Pepper guy, but
All right.
Continue.
So
You're not?
you drink a little bit out. You take your amaretto, in this case, Corona, not a sponsor.
Thank goodness.
Either is Corona. I'm going to just pour this in here. And I'm going to give him a healthy pour. Because he's going to share this with Carl because Carl's interested in trying this too. All right. So that's probably, that's a pretty healthy pour of it. Take it. do
You're
the
okay
flip.
with him just sticking his finger like
I just
that?
got out of the shower.
Okay.
And then bop.
Oh,
And there
geez.
it
Oh,
goes.
geez.
No, we're good. I'm going to pour a little in here for Carl. And I'll pour a little one in here for Jarrett. And now, Jarrett, go ahead. Carl, here you are. Let me hear what you think.
Ching,
if it
ching.
tastes like Dr. Pepper or not.
maybe a little.
What do you think, though? It's a tasty beverage, isn't it?
It's fine. I wouldn't get.
Wow, so underwhelmed.
I wouldn't get out of bed for this.
Did
know me.
You drink those sour beers all the time. I figured
that-
this would taste delicious to
That
you.
or the espresso martinis.
All right, Carl is off camera here, but Carl, what did you think?
Yeah, it tastes like flat Dr. Pepper.
He says it tastes like flat Dr. Pepper.
What? Who's getting excited about flat Dr. Pepper?
After
Thomas is.
three of these, you'll be excited about everything.
Yeah, case in point happened on Saturday.
Okay, give me one of these at like 10:30 p.m.
right.
And then,
Not 10:30 a.m. Okay. So the timing was off.
Carl will drink yours.
Okay, let's chat all things Jarrett. People want to know who you are. So tell us, when did running enter your life?
I also will tell you how Jarrett entered our life.
yeah, everyone will love that one.
Yeah, well,
So, I mean, I always hated running. I was like, who
Same.
would do this? High school, I played lacrosse, played defense 2 years because I could just stand there and like hit people
Hit
with
people.
the longer pole.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have to do that much. And then I always saw runners, and I actually do remember this, that the cross country kids had shirts that said like, your punishment is our sport.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. That's so funny. Like, who even would want to wear that? But basically, I preferred to play video games and kind of like stay up late, eat nothing athletic until probably college, I tried to get a little bit more healthy. And then law school came.
Wait, did something happen that you wanted to change?
No, I just, they wanted to like go. I was going to the gym more, but not really doing anything cardio because.
Oh, can we get, for the podcast, can we get some photos so that we can show people early Jarrett?
Yeah.
Right.
Really cute little chubby boy.
I love it.
Yeah, it'll be nice. So again, not really doing that much. And then law school came and that was just happy hours and not into it.
Yeah.
Then, so that was 2014. Then 2015, moved into the city, started doing a little bit of November Project. I know, Thomas, this is going to get you excited.
Wait, how did you find them? Or is that just when they like popped up and they were really popular?
They were the Rashfield days, Meg, when people were spray painting shirts. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing videos online of like November Project when it first started, and it did look really cool. And it was nothing. There had not been any like grassroots efforts like that.
It was a group of people.
when you say cool, like, what do you mean? Like Fonzie cool? Like what? Describe cool.
It just seemed like nothing like that was. You didn't have these groups of people getting up at 5 a.m. to just go
to
do
me, it
crazy
looked like
stuff.
Summer camp.
Yeah. Which I went to camp as a kid. So like it all makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Like there was camp
the outside.
counselors and they get up and there's groups of people and they're
But like
hugging.
you found this group on your own. It wasn't like a friend was like, "Hey, come to this with me."
I think it might have been like a friend told me and then kind of went here and there, not really into it. Trying to run maybe 2-3 miles at a time and stuff like that, not really taking it seriously. And then 2016 came. I broke up with my ex, and instead of, getting binge eating and all that stuff like that, and I actually got weirdly into running.
Revenge fitness. The revenge
right?
breakup.
Stress running, like, to like clear my mind and all that stuff like that. And it like, I was like, oh, this kind of is nice. Like, which is, again, a really weird thing, but I was very outside of my element. And when I broke up with my ex, I called Eric Schulman, as you know, and I was like, hey, I'm about to break up with her. And then he was like, okay, once you do, you can just stay with us for like a little bit until you figure out what's going on. So I did that.
You lived with Eric?
For like a month.
Okay.
With him and his wife. They let me come into their house, and that definitely helped because I wasn't trying to go home. Like I wasn't trying to be back with like my mom and out of the city and stuff like that. I kind of needed like the human interaction and stuff like that. So they were doing November Project.
Wait, your mom's not human?
I needed people my age.
Okay.
I get it.
Social scene?
I get it.
Yeah, I needed a little bit more social scene. I needed like just more fun and to be able to go out and still be on my own. So I got into that. They like went somewhere to do, I remember this half marathon. And at that point I was doing like 7 or 8 miles. And I was there alone and I was going to go out for a run. And I was like, okay, we'll do 7. We'll see how it feels. And then I got to 7. I was like, might as well push for like 9. Cause again, I don't know. That's not even like a good number to me. But then
9
I got
felt
there.
right.
Yeah, I got to there. And then I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do 9, I might as well do 10.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm like, if I'm going to do 10, might as well hit a half marathon. I had never done it before.
So wait, this is all just you running around. This isn't like
Around Locust Point.
Do you have any, like, are you carrying water with you or you have no idea? You're just running?
Had a handheld.
Okay.
But no nutrition, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I eventually got there. I got done. And I remember afterwards, I felt terrible. Like I had like the chills, which probably was very dehydrated, no nutrition, didn't know anything I was doing, but I was excited that I did half marathon. And that's something that, I mean, before that I was doing half of that. Yeah. And then randomly I was able to do this. That kind of like sparked the fire in this weird sense. It became half marathons, running them. And then a year later,
And what footwear are you wearing when you do this?
So I figured out before that, while I was still with my ex, I did a sprint try That was only 3 miles. Okay. So it was a little bit
A
easier.
sprint try.
A sprint try.
Why would you do that?
I did one. It was fun.
Because they had
Swimming,
signed
biking?
up. Yeah, they signed
Okay.
up. So then I was
But
just
it's
like,
short.
sure, I'll do it. There wasn't much involved. I was able to do it with
Wait,
zero-
was it the one in Patterson Park?
No, it was in Columbia.
Okay. Because
How far is the swim?
It's like it's a couple laps in the pool.
Yeah, it's like 10
Okay.
or so laps,
even
maybe
10.
something like
Not
that.
even
And then
10.
it's like I don't know. It's only a 5K run at the
Okay.
end.
It's like a 10-mile bike. You basically jump in the pool, swim up and back, get out, go on the bike. For,
I just listening to his background and no desire to be doing cardio. That sounds like a nightmare.
That was in like the kind of like doing no more than 3 miles of running.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I can ride a bike,
Sure.
you know, and then swimming, I haven't really struggled with that. But for that, I went into a shoe store and I got fit and I was trying on shoes that I saw on the shelf and I was like, all these feel too tight. The guy pulls out that weird metal like contraption to measure your foot.
what do they call those? Branston or I forget the
Yeah.
name of it.
That thing. They pulled out that thing. And he did it and he's like, you need wide shoes. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He comes back and he has the Kayano, the A6 gel Kayano. I don't remember what it was. It was definitely in the low numbers.
Yeah.
But I put it on and I was like, what the hell? Like it
felt
doesn't
right?
feel like I'm wearing a corset on my foot. Is this right? Is this a thing? And that also I think really helped with making running more enjoyable because I wasn't ending my run kind of like, you know, barely being able to walk with blisters and stuff like that.
That's how you were ending every run before that?
Yeah.
Jeez.
No wonder I hated running,
Yeah,
right?
for real.
It's trying on these cool, you know, different colored shoes and miserable doing it.
I think there's two things that happen to beginner runners. Either we all go out too fast and we don't know how to just run easy and then we hate it, or we put on too small of shoes and not necessarily
Or
wide
the wrong
foot,
gear of any kind.
but like too short because we put on our normal shoe size,
Yeah.
which you need to go at least a half size up.
The shoe size people don't really know about.
Yeah.
And they don't even think about that. No one really even knows.
You know what? I blame this. At this point, it's ridiculous because what they should really be doing is just, you've got a half size up. So if I walk in, I normally wear a size 10 in shoes. If I go to a running store, the 10 should have what would normally be a 10 and a half, have that room. And then you're good.
Yeah. I don't
Why do we have to
get black toenails.
or totally go the other direction? We're like, oh, you need a different size.
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is there, but I do feel like
I
that's
just told you the solution.
Okay.
Yeah. So those were the days of running in the Kayano, and I didn't care about the weight or anything like that.
But back then, let's just say if you had a wide, they came in gray or navy,
yeah.
and that was it.
Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes black.
we can get to that point. I had a whole article written that was like this, my shoe wall looks like one of those sad commercials where the ball, the guy like with the face and the clouds and raining is over him.
You just look like it's either you're going to work at like an Applebee's or you're like a retired guy who might cut grass in those shoes. Like they looked prescriptive. They looked like you needed help.
Yeah. I mean,
a medical condition.
I did need help, so.
Yeah.
It was, but the Kayano was something I wore, and then I bought the same shoe for like a couple pairs, and then I got into the Chicago Marathon because Eric told me, hey, if you can do a half marathon, you can do a marathon, which is
We all need one of those friends, right?
right. Yeah, people say that, and I still hear people kind of like say things like that,
It's
and I'm like
true.
that.
Marathons and babies. Like if people have babies and you get married, they're going to be like, oh, you got to have one. You got to do it. And it's if you start running, people are like, what? Oh, you're going to sign up for a marathon. Like I feel like there's this expectation that you have to go to that next level.
Did you feel that?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of seeing other people and what they're doing, and at first kind of basing myself off of other people, and which is exactly what you shouldn't do. I mean, that's what everyone says now. Hey, don't look at other people's times. Don't look at other people's running and all that stuff like that. But I was doing that because I was surrounded by that. Like, that's all I kind of knew.
Yeah.
So Chicago was in the Gel Cayano, which then it was comfy.
What year is this?
2017.
And this is your first marathon.
Yeah.
Were you excited about it?
I was ecstatic.
Okay.
I mean, I had no idea what to expect. I've done like a couple small races and stuff like that. And then going
To a major.
to like I didn't really get it until the expo.
The expos used to be a lot cooler than they are now. I feel like when you went to Chicago, I'd say 15 years ago, it was like a circus. Like, I remember Brooks had like Jeeps and helicopters and stuff. Like, they did like sets. Now I think marketing spends their money in other places. But it used to be like, okay, you're going to get 30 to 40,000 runners in here, doing packet pickup, and so put on a show. And now that's kind of changed. Like the last time we were in Chicago, I felt like it was just mediocre. But so 2017, let's bring it back there because I remember back then. So we had Faster Bastards.
Correct.
And Eric Schulman every once in a while would show up and run with us. But then he also was trying to create his own group of people called the Sugar Gliders.
Yeah.
Which I looked at and said, this is the exact opposite of everything that like we were trying to do with Faster Bastards. We're like, running is cool, running's hardcore, we're tough dudes, tattoos, grinding it out. And you guys are like, let's go get ice cream and run from spot to spot and eat pizza.
This was before I joined the Bastards.
You had a pink singlet with a crude drawing of a flying squirrel in a donut.
It's a sugar glider.
Yeah, a sugar glider. And I was just like, I hate these guys. I hate them. And you guys would we'd be doing our Saturday morning run, and you guys would be like setting up for your loop around the park, which was like a quarter mile to do. And I was just like, what are they doing? Why we do not
that could have been when we did a pizza mile.
It was. I think it was your pizza
What is
mile.
a pizza mile?
It was, I think we did it with teams of 2 where everyone had their own pizza.
An entire pizza?
And every lap you took turns.
I mean, there's only 6 slices or 8 slices in a pizza, right?
Yeah.
So you ate half of a pizza and ran a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, this is the grossest thing. And it was like a hot day. And then they did like runs to ice cream stores and stuff like that.
We did the Krispy Kreme challenge.
Yeah.
We flew there. That was crazy.
You flew where?
To North Carolina for like the actual Krispy Kreme
this is
challenge
an official
race.
thing.
It's an actual race. Money goes to charity, so it's a good thing, okay? But that was that, I want to say maybe 6 miles or
It's a 10K, I think.
it's a 10K, okay. Yeah. At the halfway point, you have to eat
A box.
dozen donuts.
You have to.
That's the Krispy Kreme challenge.
That's the challenge.
What if you just keep running?
Then you have not completed the Krispy Kreme challenge.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was
Did you do it?
I did do it. Those donuts are definitely bigger than the ones you get from Krispy Kreme.
So at this time, Jarrett's running around, and I just find him really annoying. Both him and Eric Schulman. I'm like,
It's such a shame he doesn't tell you how he really feels.
these guys, I really, like, I'd see their posts on Instagram, and I'd be like, oh, kill me. Like, I just really didn't like you. And then
the flip side of that, though, is that because he did go to some Faster Bastard runs, and he was like, hey, you can do this. You're getting fast enough. And I was like looking at the pictures, and they're all black and white and all tattoos. And I'm like,
Dudes look scary.
And I'm like, this does not seem like something that a nice young Jewish boy, tattooless, should be a
who
part
loves
of.
donuts. So you started coming out. And I don't know if you had already started bugging us about reviewing shoes or getting gear or something. I think Robbie was much more tolerant towards you. I don't know what it was. Maybe you reached out to him first or whatever. But he was like, well, it'd probably be good if we had somebody with wide feet.
No, dude, I know what it was.
What?
I had already been coming to the Bastards for a little, so I didn't even start asking before. Don't worry.
Wait, so this was all planned out?
No, this wasn't.
Okay.
But it was during I started doing the Ober trails.
Okay.
And then on one of those runs, I was talking to Robbie and I was like, dude, it's a thing. And he was like, I mean, I don't know, but I'll talk to Thomas about it. And then that spiraled out of control.
I was like, those guys, man, whatever. I guess, yeah, wide foot would be good. Give him a shot, see what happens. But the thing was that Jarrett was not, it wasn't just the donut running and stuff like that. You were very much, at the time, you didn't have what I considered, like there's certain things I didn't do and approach brands in certain ways because I didn't want to look like I was like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And you, though, never had that gene. You would like walk right up and be like, hey, can I have...
Dude, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
It's true.
I've toned down a little.
You have.
I've brought it down a little.
The other people have come in and taken your place.
But, I was very excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think 2018 was, I looked back at this recently, the first article that I wrote for you guys, and it was just talking about wide shoes. It wasn't even reviewing a shoe. That's when it all started.
It starts snowballing. But for us, where I think we came in, I remember the exact run where I started kind of like enjoying being around you. It was a very, very hot day. And it was one of those, I think we had like a 20-mile run. And it was brutally hot. High humidity, just dense heat. And I remember we stopped at like a 7-Eleven all the way out near Federal Hill, and then another 7-Eleven in Fells Point. We're getting ice cold Gatorades, and we were running, and I was like, okay, we're running together. This is kind of fun. He's got some funny stories. He's not that bad of a guy. And so I started melting a little bit. And I think you asked you and your current wife.
Current wife?
My only wife.
Well,
Poor
I'm saying
Allie.
he started off with breaking up with a girl in the thing. But you guys asked us to go out to dinner.
Yeah,
And
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Allie was a Megan super fan. Still is.
Yeah, but we had a great time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember where we went.
It was
I
the
do.
restaurant on the
It's
water
now
in
called
Fells.
Ampersand.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't that then. Ampersea or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys were probably like, why are they asking us to go out to dinner? That's kind of weird.
Well, we don't even go out to dinner that often.
But yeah, that was a fun evening, and now we're all good friends. Spoiler alert. But okay, let's go back to Chicago. How was your first marathon?
Oh man, that was one of the years that it was really hot.
Chicago.
I know. So the first like 20 something miles was fantastic. I've never experienced the cheering like that. I've
Yeah.
never experienced a water station that's a block long. I've never
It's just like when you go from a typical marathon, it's like just turned up.
to go right into like a major marathon, I think really influenced me a lot in that like, oh my God, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Now after that, it wasn't the case with a couple races that were a lot smaller, but I think that helped. But around 20, I was feeling good and all this stuff, seeing people loving it. And then I saw, because Allie was there, saw her around 20, and then I saw her around 22, and she was like, between those 2 miles, you
fell apart.
died. Like something happened to you.
Bang, has that ever happened to you?
That's usually where it happens. Yeah.
And then the last
Turned into a
like
shell of a human.
4 miles of that are in the open.
Yeah.
There's no shade. There's really nothing to hide in. So then it was really hot. I'm pretty sure that last, before you make the turn to the finish
Go
line,
up the hill.
it's like a 6-mile hill. That's what it feels like. It's probably only a quarter mile.
I don't even think it's that long.
But I just remember getting around the turn, getting across the finish line. Someone handed me a Goose Island beer because it's Chicago.
Yeah.
I think I had a sip and then threw it on the ground. And then I just laid on the ground because I was so hot and overheated. Someone brought me over like a bag of ice. So I'm sitting there on the ground in the middle of like the finish area with a bag of ice on my head. And I also know that I'm supposed to meet Allie and some other people like when we get out of that whole corral. So I am probably there for like 10 minutes because I don't care about anything at this point. I get my stuff. I walk over there. I see everyone in a field and like everyone's excited and stuff like that. And I'm excited. I sit down and then all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh.
You're kidding me.
No, I start to feel really, really nauseous. And I'm looking around and there's so many people everywhere.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like I went around to like a tree and I dry heaved a little, but nothing came out of it. Thank God, because it would have been like the most embarrassing thing. So I survived that. You know, you have that post marathon where you hate it for like 24, 48 hours. You're like, I'm done with this, never doing that again. And then you kind of forget about that. And you're like, was that bad? I don't know.
Isn't it weird how that happens?
Yeah, I know, right? Because during it,
Yeah.
you're like, what? Like nothing is working. I don't like things. Like once you reach that really deep, dark point of a marathon, which I've done a couple times where I'm like, I could stop now. It doesn't matter. No one cares. But like fighting through that and getting there, and then you forget about it all. It's like your body is trying to like save itself from these terrible things, which in the end is probably a bad thing. Because then you're like, oh, I got a cool medal. Let's do it again.
How long did it take you after Chicago to sign up for another one?
I think the next year I did 2.
Okay.
I did West Virginia, which
That's a bad one.
it was terrible.
Why would you choose that?
Because
know.
Schulman was
that's
dragging him around.
probably exactly
Is this supposed
why.
to be like a fast course or something?
No, their theme is yes, it's hilly.
Yeah. Meg, it's like miserably
No,
hilly.
I don't understand why anyone would choose that.
It was just a thing.
Okay.
I don't know why it worked out.
You didn't, it probably, I'm going to guess, it didn't cost anything to get over there. You're in West Virginia. It's cheap.
Yeah, but we have local marathons.
I think with timing and stuff like
Okay.
that, it wasn't working. It was that, and then doing New Jersey,
Okay.
which was very flat but humid, and that went a lot better. But I don't know, it just kind of snowballed. Then I took a bit of a break, and I decided to do a 50K, which was the Patapsco 50K, the year that it stormed and everything got canceled.
But you got engaged.
I did. And I'll get to that. So, you know, doing all this training for a 50K in the woods, Patapsco, trails and all that stuff, and then finding out that it got moved to the BWI loop.
I was like, why are people even doing this? Like,
There's 3 loops around
I don't
the
even
airport.
remember this.
so it rained so much that the trails would get damaged if the people
Sure.
were out there doing the 50K. So instead of just canceling and rescheduling or something like that, they're like, we'll just do it around the BWI airport, which if you're from this area, you know, is just like a rail to trail style loop, paved, nothing exciting. Views are probably horrible. Like you're
Airplanes.
running. Yeah, you get a little bit of that, but it's mostly like parking lots.
Yeah.
And it's just not inspiring for like,
And it's a 10-mile loop, right? 10 or 12?
Oh, something like, yeah.
so you did 3 times?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. But before that, I was like, I'm going to propose to my then girlfriend. And that kind of like, obviously I couldn't quit.
Yeah.
So if anything, that was like really the best motivation. If you want to run a 50K.
Wait, were you running with a ring in your pocket
No,
No.
so I didn't get that until about like 3 miles.
before the finish?
And
finish
he stopped and shaved.
So I started with a nice trail mustache because if you're going to run trails, that's part of it. It's always been part of it. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
That's the trail life.
Yeah.
And about 3 miles left, I had someone meet me. They had the ring. They had my electric shaver. So
But I thought he was kidding about the shaving.
no, I got rid of the mustache because I knew she wouldn't say yes if I had the mustache. And I switched to a tuxedo T-shirt.
Stop. Wow.
Yeah, that. But
Do you have photos of this?
I do have.
Okay,
There
we
are
need.
photos.
Okay, we need to
Yeah.
put
They're
those
not
up
as great
too.
as you would hope.
Yeah.
Instead of having like a good camera or something, it's like an iPhone.
Okay, but
10
how did the proposal
X.
go?
So I think at this point, Allie kind of started to like think something was up because
The tuxedo T-shirt?
She realized that like someone was like, no, like you can't leave and stuff like that. I remember getting to.
I like that she wanted to leave.
Yeah, right. I took a little bit of extra time over my estimated guess for a 50K.
Well, you stopped to shave, so.
Yeah, and running on that path, really, like my knees and my hips were killing me.
Yeah.
There were people like older who were doing this 50K who were just like flying by me, and I'm like, oh my God, these are the strongest people in the world.
That's the best.
But I got to the finish line.
2 days later.
I had the ring out. I got down on one knee, and then she went over, down to hug me, and I was like, you have to get off of me. I was going to fall over.
Yeah.
And trying to be on one knee after that many miles, I couldn't do it. So then,
Did you just stay in that position for a while?
someone helped me up.
Okay.
And then, we celebrated. But yeah, that was the 50K, and I haven't done one since.
Is the ultra life over for you?
I don't know.
Well, I'd run hat with you if you want.
if
we can figure out.
I want to do a
time where we
50K
can go.
again.
Or the actual Patapsco
But like a
party.
real one on the trails versus loops of pavement?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that sounds better.
And then whenever anyone's like, oh, do a 50 miler, I'm like, no, that's
Yeah.
not happening. I understand the jump from the marathon to a 50K. It's only 4-5 miles.
Yeah,
But I'm not going from 32 to 50.
yeah.
That's nuts.
As someone who's done 150 miler, I will tell you it is nuts.
Yeah.
Megan did not like that.
0 out of 10 stars.
Yeah. So that was my only trail. Like, I've done trail races. I love trails, but it's just as close as it is to like us. I like that I can just walk out the door and go for a run.
That's my main issue is like I don't like running at night because like I eat and I'm tired or whatever happens during the day. So like evening runs aren't that much fun for me. And then I don't like trail runs as much because I like it when I'm there. But like to have to get in my car, go someplace versus opening my door and just going out for a run. But when you and I started running together, that's where my emotions started changing.
What were you guys
towards
training for?
After that, you guys convinced us to do wine glass.
Oh, wow.
That was next
What
stop.
a travesty.
I know. You hyped it up.
Well, wait, though. We had a great time at Wine Glass.
That is my best marathon I've ever run.
Yeah, and we ran it together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys did the whole thing. Well, until like 20 miles,
till
right?
20, and then,
I let you be.
yeah. Well, no, it was great because we had a goal. We would get to 20 and decide, how we wanted to go. And I got to 20 and I was feeling pretty good. So I was like, come on, Jarrett. And you were like, I'm good right here. So I said, okay, I'm going to leave you and I'll see you at the finish.
Yeah.
And which was a terrifying move because here I had a buddy that I was enjoying running with, but I was like, I think I can squeeze out a little more of this marathon. So I took off, and it was actually great having him behind me because I was like, I don't want to let Jarrett catch back up. If I left him, that would be the worst case scenario. Would Jarrett would jog
Fly
past me
past you.
as I'm like struggling to get the finish. So it motivated me to run a little faster.
This was 2019?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, yeah, and then, but I guess we ran together and trained together a little bit.
What shoes were you racing in?
That was
The New Balance RC.
I know.
Oh,
The
before they
RC
switched it up.
2.
Yeah, the
Okay.
purple ones.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Squishy.
Yeah. We had a goal. I think that was sub 330, right?
You had never run sub 330.
Yeah.
So your goal was sub 330.
I don't think I ever ran sub 4 at that point.
I think I was going for like 325.
Yeah. And I remember that race. We were
Wait, you had never done a sub 4 at that
I
point?
don't think I did. No.
You went from above 4 to, because you ended up running a 328, 329.
329.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the training was fantastic. Like everything was going right for that race. It rained a bit.
Is that why we were running together? Did Megan train you for this?
It might have been. It might have been the start of Coach.
All right.
I think it was.
That,
Yeah.
or I was just taking whatever you were doing.
I think you did do that for a while. But what I enjoyed is we started doing long runs together. We started training, and you grew on me quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember the finish line of that. That was an emotional finish line.
Did you guys hug?
Yeah. Dude, so
Maybe even more.
we were staying in front of the 3:30 pacer the whole time. That was like just stay in front of them.
Yeah.
And then when we broke off, I was like, okay, I just need to continue going. And then maybe around 22, again, that it's like that point, just like I start breaking. I started to walk for like a minute and I was like, no, I got to keep going. And then around 24, I started to walk again. And I was really in this crazy place. And I remember I started to slap myself.
Like actually?
Like I was like, I need to like, it's only 2 more miles.
Yeah.
Like I need to keep going.
So wait, how far out is the bridge?
That was,
That's like half a mile.
Oh, that is?
Yeah.
That's short?
It's
Okay.
close.
yeah, it was about that.
Yeah.
But I remember the 3:30 person passed me around 25. And I was like, oh my God, like this is done, whatever. Like, but then I started, I was still kind of like jogging and I was running some girl, like I kind of caught up to some woman running and started talking to her. And she was like, yeah, I'm trying to like, I just need to keep going. And I was like, okay, let's just push each other.
Yeah.
We got to the bridge and I looked down at my watch and I was like, I still have time. I can still do this. So then I was like, okay, I'm just going. And I started taking off. We did that last turn and I started getting that tunnel vision. That could have been the longest, like,
It's a long
finish.
straightaway.
Yeah, there's like 4 lights there.
Yeah.
Apparently the bastards were on one side yelling and screaming. I couldn't tell you anything that was going on, but I knew that I had like 2 minutes. And so I was like, I can see the finish line. Let's just go and do this. So I took off as hard as I could. And somehow I like didn't fall. My like body didn't cramp up and I made it across. It was like 3:29 and some change.
Was I waiting there?
You were waiting there.
Because I don't remember. I don't remember the finish.
Yeah. We exchanged pleasantries. And then I think like you were on the side and I told you and I just like sat down, collapsed.
Yeah.
And that was like at the best like marathon time that I still today have had.
I remember we finished and I felt so good when we finished. I felt like I left something out on the course. So I re-upped and did the NCR marathon. What was that, like?
A month or 2 later?
Yeah, it was like a month later. And I ended up doing slightly better, like 2 minutes faster. And, but I was like, I think just running with you and kind of like having that first, like really steady 20 miles set me up for like having a strong finish. And from then on, I was like, okay, I like running with Jarrett.
Yeah, I think that's really like once the love blossomed.
Yeah, that was full bloom. And so then we started doing more training together.
Yeah, more training, more shoes.
Yes.
I think that's really like when like the peak of getting into it and the shoes and the reviews and all that kind of
Which is
really
such good
started.
timing because then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Jarrett blew it by having a baby and moving to the county.
That's a little bit later.
Okay.
You mentioned
Ruined
earlier
everything.
your first article on Believe in the Run was just about wide feet.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first shoe review was?
I do.
What is
'Cause
it?
I
What was
loved-
it?
It was Nike.
Nike what?
The Structure
Yeah,
20.
you like the structure.
Is it like the 22 or something like that?
I would have never in a million years guessed Nike.
I know. It was 4E.
Oh,
And guess what? I hated that shoe.
all right.
It was, I think my shoe reviews were a little bit more colorful back then.
Uh-huh.
Well, what was also interesting back then, I felt like you liked more shoes just because you were getting these wide shoes. But in the beginning, like you went to the shoes that you knew. So like the Structure was a wide shoe with stability that you were like, oh, I like those. But you hadn't tried a lot of different shoes.
There weren't many shoes like even out there.
So it was like as soon as you found and started trying different shoes, you're like, oh, I've been wearing crap shoes. So
Yeah. And then I realized shoes don't have to be miserable. And I mean, it was like the Kayano, the Nimbus Cumulus.
what about didn't you do like the Arahi or like one of the
The
stability Hokas?
Gaviota.
Maybe that was it. Yeah.
And I mean, it was like New Balance, like the 880, the 860.
And now
and
that
the
this is-
the Vazi Prism V2.
Oh, yeah.
Were the best shoes. They
That
were
was a
like my
good one.
favorite. I think I bought like 8 pairs of those.
See, and that's a crazy thing is like Robbie, for him, New Balance doesn't always work. It's a foot shape thing. And I do feel even their standard width shoes, sometimes I'm like, why is it so wide if you're going to offer a wide? Like, shouldn't this be a little snugger, sleeker? But for you, it's probably one of your favorite brands.
Yeah. I mean, right now a lot of brands are doing a lot more. And I love that. I love seeing that I can go to these different companies and filter. There's actually a filter for wide, which is crazy to me because that wasn't a thing like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's colors. Before it was gray, black, navy, black and navy, gray and navy. It was some combination of that, and that was it. But now, like, I mean, you were saying, like with New Balance, you can go on their website. There's 2E, 4E that they're making in brand new models. And to know that, like, there's a shoe that isn't guaranteed to be a success, and they're putting it out in different widths, which costs extra money to do. And
Well, it's a different last, right?
for some of them, it's either a different last or some companies just do more upper material.
Like let it be a little more baggy.
Do you know the difference?
I think that there can be a difference. I notice sometimes if the shoe like kind of curves in some, so sure the top might feel sloppy, but I feel like there's no room for like my foot to kind of go over the edge. It feels like it's like kind of like held in there.
Sure.
And I'm like stepping on that foam.
One thing that I think is interesting and different about your wide foot, because I think a lot of people confuse like Ultra or those shoes
Foot
that have
shape, as they call it.
Yeah, a narrow heel with a wider flipper, like forefoot. Where your problem is your foot just doesn't have any curves. So like imagine like if I was gonna say like a normal person has like a figure 8 shaped body, like you're gonna say
It's like the opposite.
yeah, it's like a brick.
I have a wider midfoot. So like those shoes like that, I'm not like, I need the biggest toe box in the world. I do, like a spacious toe box. But if the midfoot is tight, if there's those overlays that are going, and there's no room to expand, then it just isn't going to work.
Because we've sent you shoes that have plenty of toe box,
Yeah.
but it doesn't fit you right because the throat is too narrow.
Yeah. And I end up getting injured.
All right.
From the shoes.
Yeah. I've actually from trying a lot of shoes, some of them don't work, but I still feel the need to I know that they will work for some people because everyone has.
I think you'll sometimes stuff your foot into a shoe that you like and be like, I want to run in this.
I will. I do that too. The carbon plated shoes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how can I fake it, until I make it for a race? Like why, the first time I tried on a carbon plated shoe, I was like, you guys are cheating. Like, this isn't fair. I'm running in like a 16 ounce, stability shoe.
Yeah.
And then these shoes are like 7 ounces. It was mind blowing. So if I can run into some of these carbon plated shoes for 10K, a 10 mile, like the Nike Alpha Fly, 10 miles is probably my max. I could probably push myself to 13, but I wouldn't do anything past that. However, it's such like a fun shoe that I'm willing to kind of risk a little bit of injury until not like pain, but I know that the marathon distance, you can't fake that. So if the shoe doesn't feel good, you can't do it. Like your feet start hurting, you'll start hobbling, and then it's just done. So yeah, it's a fun game of seeing what works.
So what race shoes are available in wide or that are wide enough to accommodate someone's wide foot?
Right now New Balance has the
SC Elite.
SC Elites in wide.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have the Pacer 2 in wide.
Okay.
And then I think that's really it for wide carbon plated shoes. Now there's shoes that fit or work. I mean, I was able to run a marathon in the Adidas Prime X Strung 2.
I mean, that's got a pretty accommodating upper.
Yeah. And like my feet weren't miserable afterwards. I knew that I could make it work. Otherwise I wasn't going to run in them. But other than that, there's probably only maybe a few that I would be willing to push that distance.
Yeah.
Now, a shorter race, a lot of them. But then some of we tried the Rocket X2.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do this one.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that felt like I was stepping on the outsole.
Yeah.
Okay, so for today, what would be your ideal shoe lineup for a week? Like a daily trainer, a race day shoe, and a recovery shoe.
Recovery, I mean, I just got the More 5. I mean, the midsole of that is crazy.
Is that a wide or is that
It is a wide. It feels a little bit more narrow than the 4, I will say. Okay. But, I mean, that's as comfy as it gets.
Yeah, that's a cushy shoe.
The cush is crazy. I mean, that went from an awful first 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 were bricks.
It was terrible. I'm glad they didn't quit on that shoe.
Yeah.
3 was pretty good. 4 was
great.
Yeah, and then now 5 is I also
It's good,
enjoy. Yeah.
Daily training, I like the Ghost Max 2.
Okay.
880.
See, I think you should have gotten the glycerin, Meg.
I think you should stick your feet in Thomas's shoes after this.
The glycerin max,
It's pretty wide.
it's the upper's accommodating.
It's not a visit to this house if I'm not trying on a shoe, right?
It is. Okay, that's something we should probably tell people. Like, so we have a pretty decent amount of shoes here at the house.
And you and Jarrett are the same size.
And Jarrett and I are the same size. I'll come home sometimes and Jarrett will have stopped here. And I'll come back and he'll have like one of my shoes on his feet. And I'm like, it's kind of like a sweater. You don't want, like, it's like in the Seinfeld, like, I don't want you stretching out my neck of my sweater with your big head.
I'm like, this isn't where I parked my foot. I'm like, where am I? I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
We should also explain that Thomas is a super weird germaphobe, and I think that's part of it.
I mean, I don't love people's feet in my shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably true. I also wouldn't love it like lending you gloves. I don't like things that you are very close and.
Yeah, I think the only gloves I've gotten from you guys is the throwaway.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
But for race day,
Yeah.
it's probably the elites.
Yeah.
The SC elites.
And daily trainer?
I said
He's
the
the
Max.
Ghost.
Oh, okay, Ghost Max.
Yeah.
All right. Now, of all the people that have, heard our podcast, we talk about Meg making bagels every once in a while. You've been fortunate enough to be here when a Meg's bagel comes out of the oven.
I try to make sure I'm here.
He shows up on most Sundays.
Can I ask you, are they overhyped?
No, they're the best bagels like in the area.
I know.
And like my heritage, we know bagels. Okay?
It's like a stamp of approval from Jarrett.
Yeah. I've been saying, how do I get like a subscription? Like 6 a week. Okay. I'm not asking for a dozen a week. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it would be nice. And
Okay. And additionally, recently added to, she also makes homemade pizzas from scratch, the crusts and stuff like that. But recently there's a chocolate chip cookie added to the baking mix.
I found this out last week.
How good are they?
It's scary.
Oh, you had one?
Yeah. I wouldn't want, I honestly think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I could have bagels every day,
Yeah.
but like the cookie,
Yeah.
it's like at home. I don't have like a candy jar or like a candy bowl.
Yeah.
That's because you eat it as soon as you get it.
It'll just be a bowl.
Yeah.
I don't have that self-control.
So just don't put it in the
I
house.
need it out of the
Yeah.
house. So like if I can't, I'm not going to get out. I'm not going to go drive to the grocery store and get candy. But like if it's there, I'm like,
So what are you going to do for Halloween? Because your neighborhood is a Halloween neighborhood.
that's a good question. what am I going to do?
Are you
I'm
guys
gonna-
dressing up?
Yeah, we haven't. That's been a topic of conversation is what to be.
I think you
Allie
should get
wants to
that
do.
Ben Johnson Chipotle rapper costume.
I thought you were going to be Miss, what is it?
Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel.
That's the thing. I don't know, like, as a family costume, I don't know how that would work. It'd be adorable, Jordan, as Miss Rachel. That'd be like the cutest thing in
Yeah.
the world.
Right, you could just be like one of the illustrations.
There's like a bunch of crazy people in that show. You could be any of them.
I know. So we'll have to see. That's an option. It's been something that Allie has been stressing about figuring out for the last like month and a half.
You
get
guys
it.
are also
It's
kind of
stressful.
famous for your trips to get the apple cider pumpkin patch, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Meg?
Yeah. I'm going for, my morning early run, and then I get that out of the way, and then I can go have some apple cider donuts. Right?
And where do you normally go for this?
Either Boggers.
Okay. And I will tell you, people who are listening, Jarrett's food recommendations, like when we go someplace, like he comes to Austin with us when we go to the running event, and we let Jarrett kind of pick the restaurants because he's, at this point, we trust him because he's never missed. I don't think I've ever gone someplace where I'm like, that wasn't a good call. I guess Pete Terry's is the only one, but it's more of an experience that I'm like, this is okay.
Robbie and Carl love Pete Terry's.
Yeah, Carl just said I was hammered, and that's the thing. But I will say we did like a 20-mile trail run, and we stopped at John Brown's Butcher, and we got a burger. And I've never enjoyed a burger more than that day. It was cold out, it was rainy, it was drizzly. We go in there; it's like in a cottage in the countryside.
Yeah, I had that
it
for the
was
first
perfect.
time like a year ago, and as I was eating it, I started to get mad. Like, how have I never had this before? Because it was only 15 minutes from where I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand this one. Missed opportunity my whole life. But I think the food thing is also, I think, why Alex Herms and I get along so well. Seeing him eat while running, why take a gel when you can...
Okay, no, there's reasons why. You
Yeah,
don't eat a
the
burger
way that you
mid-run.
digest it.
Okay, wait, but so you gave us your top shoes. Can you give us your top places to eat anywhere in the country? Like top 3.
I don't want to do it in order.
Don't do it in order. Just some highlights.
And can I more so like do like 5-ish?
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So burger, John Brown.
John Brown, what's it called? The full name, John Brown Butchers or
Butcher, something like that.
Yeah.
That's in Baltimore, Maryland.
I
or
prefer the
outside.
one. I know that they had a couple locations, but the one that's out near Oregon Ridge.
Oh, yeah, off of Falls Road.
Yeah, that's the one I
Yeah.
like.
Probably, I have to throw Chick-fil-A in there.
Okay, nope.
How can I not?
Okay,
It's
sure.
You have to qualify that with fast food.
Okay, that goes under the fast food category.
Okay.
What about like pizza joint?
Oh, in Austin, Texas.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say.
Yeah, right?
312?
Via 313.
313?
Yeah, 313.
Okay.
I have been, even before like the running event, I had been to Austin maybe like three times, something like that. I think every single time I've been to Via 313, sometimes twice. That is
That's
like,
Detroit style.
Yeah.
It's the first time I had hot honey.
Yes.
Now Megan is addicted to
I
that
love
stuff.
hot honey.
yeah, I'll
On
go
pizza.
toe to toe
Which
with
is weird
anyone. That's
because
the best.
you're not a sweet person. You are a very kind person, but you don't ingest a lot of sweet food.
But it's spicy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just surprised.
And then after that, I don't know. It's just
Tacos?
I do like tacos. I don't think
You don't have a favorite?
I'm an equal opportunity taco eater. Like, I feel like it could be from a cart, which could give me some faster benefits, or from like a random like Tex-Mex. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'll go to town on the free chips until I'm miserably full, and then what do I do with all the food I ordered? I continue.
So when we go to Austin, there's 2 taco places we went to. We went to
Torchies.
Torchy's, and what was the other one? The one that had like really wild stuff. We
that
saw
called?
Gavin there.
There's a couple of them.
I like the Torchy's. I think those are fine for me.
Yeah.
But okay, so you take care of that. So you got your food. What else is missing from your life?
Oh, we didn't get your favorite beverages or your best Costco picks.
The best Costco picks, I mean, I can do that easily.
Okay.
We can do those chicken nuggets, and I'm talking about the Kirkland ones.
Okay.
That's
a Costco brand.
Yeah, but there's another, I think it's like Bear is like the one that people were like freaking out about before. I think the Kirkland ones are better, hands down, and a better deal, which is important.
Very important.
Because you go to Costco for like
the deals,
2 things, and you spend like $300.
Are you one of those people that goes around and eats all the samples and basically like has a meal?
If I go on a Saturday, I will. But then also the problem is going on a Saturday is it's chaos. So like, do I want to deal with that?
No.
Sometimes it could be worth it.
Okay.
If the samples are good, right?
I don't do samples.
I know, of course you don't.
Not shocking.
I don't
German
even.
guy.
I don't even like being approached when I'm shopping.
Being asked if you would like a
yeah,
sample.
don't even ask me if I want one. Just leave me alone.
It's your fault for making eye contact.
No, I try everything. Good morning. Want to try a piece of our smoked sausage?
Yeah.
Okay, what else from Costco do we need to have on the radar?
The Costco slides, whenever those come back in stock, get like 2
Is
pairs
that like
of
a
them.
White Cast? Oh, you mean
This
shoes.
isn't food. We're talking. Yeah, they have everything there.
Okay.
Wait, a slide?
The sandals.
The ones that you hate
Oh,
that I have.
I thought you meant
No, they do
Kids
sell.
slide.
They do sell that. Okay, I've been
See, and I was
looking.
thinking sliders like hamburgers.
And then the box of like, is it 60 or 90 like chewy granola bars, the Kirkland brand.
Okay, so Kirkland again.
Because you can get a box, it's $10 for like 60 of them, or it's $4,000 for like 8 of the Martin chewy bars.
Oh, true.
Right?
But those are really good.
These are really good.
Okay, all right. You'll have to bring me some next time.
Yeah.
And I'll make you a bagel.
But I mean, running has been tough recently.
Is it because you have a tiny human?
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, Robbie and I make fun of you.
I know. I don't. It is impressive. First off, it's amazing. Like mothers who are running.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how they can do that with having a baby and all that. Is like the most. I mean,
Do you mean prioritizing their health and exercise routine over becoming
and even
lethargic?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's like amazing to see. I don't understand now seeing like people who have had kids are the fastest runners out there. That's like amazing.
Well, that's because if you have kids, you need to get out there, get your run done, and get back.
But also, I just think it's an endurance in itself. Like you're not sleeping, you're figuring out how to function on limited sleep and food, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of in the phase of trying to figure out when I can run.
Mm-hmm.
I like running in the morning. Mm-hmm. I hate running after work.
I agree.
Me too.
I would rather be tired for work than tired for my run.
See, and that's the thing. I think it's the opposite. I feel energized after I run. Like if I have a day off from running and I go straight into work, it takes me a while to like get my brain functioning. Whereas if I come in from after a run, like I feel like all systems are go. I'm good. Maybe at 3:00, I'm starting to need that like extra rush of like energy. But like to do a full work day and then go for a run, that to me is just miserable. And I'm sure for some people it's a way to unwind and finish the day. But for me, it's not my favorite.
Yeah, and it would probably be easier for me to get runs in if I was running at night, like after Jordan goes to sleep. But like I just don't want to do that. I get tired. So like it's been a game of trying to balance, going for my run. I can't beat her up in the morning at this point. She's not
Beat her
sick.
up? What do you say?
I can't wake
up
before
before.
her.
I knew what you meant.
It's like, yeah, you can't beat her up.
And then I feel guilty, which I'm sure that anyone with kids, feels when you go out for a run and you're leaving the kid with your spouse or whoever else. And you're like, oh, well, I'm out here running. And then you're just back taking care of the baby. So I do feel guilty a lot with that.
But you guys got a baby stroller, right?
We do.
How's that working out?
I mean, it's like the Lamborghini of baby strollers.
What is it?
Thule.
Okay, yeah.
Thought it was Thule. It's not. It's Thule.
Okay.
My also name is not Thomas.
It could be. It's thumb.
How often do you get to use that?
We've used it. It depends.
Running with a stroller is hard. I don't care what anybody says. It's you're not moving your arms and trying to run. Like it like interrupts the way that you breathe.
Yeah, I don't have so much problem with that. It's that again, just being able to go outside and run. It's not flat in the county at all. So hills were fine when she was younger, but as she's grown, it's gotten a little bit heavier, and the hills
All them
are
Kirkland
getting
nuggets.
noticeably harder.
Yeah. That'll make you strong.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Yeah, that's why when he's talking about all these people that come back from having a kid, think about it, they're getting out there.
They're pushing a stroller.
They're having to get their workouts done quickly. Some are pushing strollers up hills and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just more. They're doing more work.
I know, and I'm the type of person who also needs like
Time to play video games.
that, but like that motivation.
Yeah.
I need a race.
I was going to ask, is there something on the calendar that's getting you out the door right now?
There's nothing.
Okay.
Do you feel guilty when you're playing video games? And
No, because that's usually when Allie's asleep and the baby's asleep. So like,
that's you wouldn't want to run then because you're
No.
playing video games.
It's
I
probably
know-
late at night. It's
yeah,
probably
it's
like 11 p.m.
yeah,
You ever seen Robbie? Robbie will shoot out at
I
like
know.
a weird hour.
That's the thing.
Carl was doing like midnight 6 miles for no reason.
That's if I could like have.
I think you should sign up for the Baltimore Half. I'm just going to throw it out there.
We ran that together last year.
I love the half.
Want to do it again?
It's hilly. You've been running hills. It's 13 miles. You can do it.
I'll think about it.
You want to do it together?
Peer pressure on the
You're-
podcast.
You're so much faster than me,
Dude,
right now.
I am not. I'm
You are
injured.
so fast. You are doing marathon after marathon.
I've
You
been
are-
injured all this time. Like I've been running like today. Yeah, I'm going to be running with Aubrey in Germany, and we're going to run slower than you and
How
I
jealous
ever.
are you?
Yeah, he
On
is
a
my new
scale of
Jarrett.
1
You know
to
what?
10.
If he was in the U.S., I would never even call you anymore. Aubrey, I love you, buddy.
So mean.
So as jealous as I am, I have a wedding that I have to be at that weekend. So like, I that's keeping me from.
That's the
just
other thing
kind
I
of,
don't
like,
understand.
Flipping a table.
I really hate it when people plan weddings on marathon weekends.
Right.
Like, have some like courtesy. That's just
Yeah.
rude.
Because there's not one every weekend.
I know.
Right. Just wait. Do it in the off season.
And once those like the big marathons and like the idea of talking about potentially doing one comes up, I'm like putting that on my calendar, saying like maybe this. And then if Allie tells me a date, I'm like, hold on, let me look through. And I'm like, okay, that's a free weekend. We can go to that wedding.
Yeah.
I love the NCR marathon. It's boring because it's on the NCR trail, but the biggest problem I have with it is it's like the weekend after Thanksgiving, and I don't
Carved up.
I don't have but I don't have the self-control when your family's in town to just be like, I'll take it easy.
Yeah.
I could do that for the date, but that out and back I couldn't do. I'm not mentally strong enough. Like I would go crazy.
See, I enjoy out and backs because I know where I am.
It's
So-
like looped courses. I hate those too.
I know.
Do
where
you really?
Yeah.
You pass the finish line?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. You
Oh,
like
then
hey,
you're gonna hate Tokyo.
if I
No, it's out and backs. It's
No,
different.
Tokyo, you go past the finish, you run out 4 more miles, and then come
But
back.
it's a major marathon.
just kind of blinder.
Yeah.
I love Tokyo, but that was a little bit of a heartbreaker
Yeah.
when you have to go past the finish
Yeah.
and then come back.
Yeah. I think Tokyo, I've wanted to go to Japan for forever.
I think we're going back next year.
Japan seems like the coolest place in the world.
It
is really cool.
It actually feels like a different world.
Yeah.
Of all the places we've traveled, I feel like you go to Europe and you're like, oh, it's old USA.
I tried to convince Allie that we should go there for our honeymoon. It
Okay.
didn't work, but I feel like it's like every couple months where I'm like, Allie, we should go to Tokyo. It has never worked out, but I think like that and the Tokyo Marathon are like the dream race. But I know that Tokyo that's tough. Is that the toughest one to get into?
But you're saying it on the podcast. Put it out there.
In the
It's
universe.
true. I need to
Yeah.
put it on my vision board.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, just keep reminding Allie, keep saying it.
Maybe a brand new shoe company will come out with wide shoes, and they'll be like, "We've got to get
Wide
this guy to
racers in
Tokyo."
Tokyo.
I'm gonna create my own shoe company
There we go.
through an LLC shell corp, so that way no one knows. But it'll be me sending myself out there.
Okay. We'll support it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll even donate.
I mean, I want to give you a shoe for free. I'm a
Oh
company.
no, I don't
need
want
to-
your shoe because I know it'll be crap. But,
Oh, geez. All right, Jarrett, give one piece of advice to all of the wide-footed people out there.
It would be that running doesn't have to suck. Like it really doesn't. And this is coming from someone who like hated running.
and
Like-
sucks.
Yeah, and sucks at running. Like it doesn't have to hurt. So if it's hurting, and like with your feet, wide shoes, get a different pair of shoes. There's more out there now. There's more options. You don't need to get stuck with one shoe. And the thing is that even from year to year, the shoes change. So one year it could feel great, and the next year it doesn't feel good. Don't be afraid to try a new brand, because it could make your running so much more enjoyable.
Maybe another piece of advice you could get is to read your reviews on Believe in the Run.
That too, right?
Yeah,
Keep
because then
checking it
you'll
out.
know what shoes have changed and,
And
not changed.
figure out how my shoes and reviews relate to your feet and what you think about a shoe, because then you can kind of start to figure out what shoes will work for you. Because again, we all have different shaped feet. So like if you're like, oh yeah, this one was great for me. He talked about this and I thought, it fit well here, or here was too tight. You kind of start to get that idea.
Do you find, so we have people that do the Clydesdale running reviews, like Chad, who, he's a bigger dude at 275 pounds or whatever, at 6'2" feet or whatever it is. You're wide foot, but you're not necessarily, I wouldn't call you a Clydesdale runner.
Before I started running, like I kind of didn't mention this. When I got into it, 2014, 2015, I was 225.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's part of me hating running.
I don't remember you being.
Yeah, you'll have to see some pictures.
We didn't know you then.
No.
yeah.
you didn't.
When you started running with us, about what weight were you then?
I got down to like 175,
Okay.
180.
And how tall are you?
5'9".
So 5'7"?
No, actually, a true 5'9".
Actual
Okay.
5'9".
True to size.
Not a
True to
guy's
size.
5'9".
Like, I think that we should be able to give two measurements. You should be able to give your height without any shoes on and your height with a pair of Alpha Flies on.
I think all guys just say the height with the alpha flies on.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I guess we were talking about weight. I got down from that, and what brought us to that?
I was wondering, like, where the crossover, the Venn diagram between
Clydesdale.
Whitefoot and Clydesdale would happen.
Oh, that's
Because I feel like there's somewhat a crossover.
I think that there are a lot of like Clydesdale runners who need wide shoes, but not.
But you can need wide shoes and not be a Clydesdale.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can be a Clydesdale and not need wide shoes. But the what I'm thinking is a lot of times, if you're a big dude or even a big woman, your volume of your foot's going to be bigger. Like it's like just like over the arch, like you have bigger feet. You're a bigger person.
I'm sure if you looked at like some of the videos and stuff like that, the comments are probably talking about like wide shoes.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you get people who are Clydesdale runners who are asking you advice on shoes?
Yeah, but no one is really I mean, there are some people who like will message me, and I try to reply to everyone. So if like it takes me a couple of days, I might not have seen it. I have a baby. I don't know if you heard this whole time.
One baby and this guy is shut down. All of you out there with multiple kids know how easy one kid
All
is.
of you with multiple kids, bless your heart.
Unless your one kid is like colicky or, has a health issue, one kid I feel like is very manageable. And even for running.
And she's the best. So like I can't even complain about anything. But I don't like a lot of people don't really bring up like weight and stuff like that. They're just asking like, what's the best wide shoe?
Yeah.
And that's such a tough question. That's like when people ask you, what's the best shoe? And then you're like, I need like a little bit more details than that.
Well, but I like it when I say, okay, this is my favorite. And they're like, well, what about this one or this one? And I'm like, I just told you this one's my favorite. And they're like, but what about this one or that one? And you're like, wait, are we going to go through?
Yeah. And then people ask me about like, they're like, okay, what about this one? And I'm like, that doesn't even come in wide. So like, if you were like, oh, I had to size up in that and it still kind of felt tight. Yeah, there's kind of probably a reason why it felt that way. It's because you were in the wrong shoe. So like when people ask, I try to give as best advice as I can for them. But then I also give like a little thing of being like, but if you're going to order it online as opposed to going in store, which a lot of people now like to do because
it's
why
just
get
easy.
off? Yeah. I'm like, just make sure you get it from somewhere that you can return it like without a problem, because there's nothing worse than returning to a place and only getting like store credit.
Well, that's why like early on, I used to love ordering from Running Warehouse just because I could order 6 pairs of shoes, try on each shoe like it's like bringing the store to your house, put the ones that you don't like back in the box and send them back before it even hits your credit card.
Yeah.
Like it's an easy way to be able to try the shoe on and get it back. Now, what they don't want you to do is like running in the shoe and then sending it back. But if you're just doing a try on, like if it's like the store and like they're bringing the box out and you're going to try the shoes on and put them back in the box and send back the ones that work or don't work for you, I feel like that's a fair, exchange for that. And it's going to help you find the right shoe. So did you ever do that, or did you always go in store?
I did do that at some point because I knew Running Warehouse had like that really easy return policy. And I have a good sense of trying on a shoe and if it's going to potentially work or not. If it doesn't feel good at all, I'm just like, there's no point. Like I can try to run a couple miles in this and then be miserable. But again, who wants that?
But you've done that for vanity purposes. Like if you really like the look of a shoe, I remember you running and having hurt feet.
But there's also shoes that I have. I think the shoe that in the middle of the run I took off and I walked back barefoot was the Ultra. What was it? The 1.5? Was it the Torin or? It was one of the shoes.
Yeah, there was Torin had a 1.5.
Yeah, and then they stopped making it after that. That was like razor blades on my Achilles. I had blood on my feet, on like the back of my ankles, and I would have rather walked back barefoot through Baltimore City. Yeah.
That's a day.
You and Robbie.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, I can make it through a run, and if my feet hurt, I probably won't continue. And, it is what it is.
I will say there's also, for people that have wide feet, there's an article on believeintherun.com that Jarrett updates pretty frequently. That's the best wide foot running shoes and for each year or like right now. And so you can go check out that list as well.
Yeah, I try to update that as much as I can. And usually if a shoe isn't on there.
And you used to have a dumb Instagram handle.
I did. I changed it. It's better.
So what is it now if they want to contact you and ask you?
It's at Jarrett.Weisberg.
And what was it before? Zafaret?
It was at Zafaret.
We'll put it in the show notes so all of you get ready. Your DMs are going to blow up.
It's a little bit better than Normcore Runner.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get in a little trouble for picking on you, but we kind of have, like, would you admit we have like maybe like a sibling relationship?
Yeah. I think this house is like family.
Yeah.
So it's always funny, like when I used to be on the podcast and come on at times and people would be like, why are you so mean to Jarrett? Like you're being a bully. And I'm just sitting there laughing. And then I know that Thomas is later and then text me and be like, dude, was I that mean? Like, I'm really sorry.
No, I'm intentionally treat you like a little brother sometimes. So, and it's only because I do love you.
Yeah.
Very much. Like you're one of my favorites.
So if you have anger that you want to send, make sure you send it to his personal account.
Yeah, no.
TF Newberger?
No, I don't have an Instagram. I strictly believe in the run.
All right, Jarrett, thank you for coming in and chatting with us. It was fun to hear your story. I knew most of it, but not all of it. Mm-hmm. And I think all of our listeners are going to enjoy it as well.
I'm glad you liked it, and I'm glad that we survived this whole time.
Yes.
All right, little buddy.
All right.